Breathe, Kelly. Everything's gonna be all right. Who's out there? Really? I would be indebted to you for life. But how do I know I can believe you? I'll have to come out to assess it myself. Hold on. I'm opening the door.
Let me just catch my breath. I swear, my heart's trying to punch its way out of my chest. Law, I'm so lucky you came along. I know it sounds crazy, but a little while back, I'd been gearing myself up to take a long walk off a short turbine platform. Then the security mechanicals broke out into a massacre, and I realized I really want to live. How can I help you help me get out of here? I'm Kelly Marine, the receptionist. And before you ask, I wasn't manning the visitor's desk when the mechanicals went haywire, 'cause no one comes here. Not ever. Not since all us station workers were dropped off at the start of the project a year ago. Project's on a yearly rotation cycle. Once a year, Auntie Cleo reviews our work and decides if we get more rations, personnel, deadlines, that sort of thing. At first, I thought it was an honor, getting assigned to a lab up in the ether high above Olympus. But I didn't know what it'd be like, day in and day out. I ask myself that question a lot, and then I realize I'm talking to myself. Cabin fever sets in at about 90 days. Auntie Cleo's official term is contagious irritable claustrophobia, and it ain't covered by the company's medical policy. If I had to guess, you'd probably find his body either in his office or the labs. Or heck, he could have been on the toilet. I don't know. No bones about it, he was the smartest of us all. Maybe he evaded the automechs, too. Like what? Pink slip protocol. How should I know? I just monitor the front desk. Well, except for the last couple of days when I've been hiding out in here. If you work at OOPS, you're doing research and development. If we're not researching or developing fast enough, the protocol's there to put the fear in us. Somebody messed up. When one of us makes a mistake, the whole facility pays for it. I know it sounds harsh, but it was in our contracts and everything. Oh, this lab was built for the sole purpose of brewing an advanced version of anthracillin. Dr. Lowe was spearheading the initiative. Science stuff isn't really my area, though, so I don't know more than that. Just a feeling I got. Every day was the same as every other day. I felt like I was stuck in a circle, you know? Started imagining what it'd be like to break that circle. Station goes in a circle around the planet, so what if I just dropped off the edge? But after what I've seen, after what happened, I don't want that anymore. I want to live. Do I ever? Drop me off on the groundbreaker and I'll be out of your hair in no time. Oh, thank you so much. I'll just hide in a crate or something. You won't even know I was there. Here, this is my official laboratory headgear. I won't be needing it anymore, so it's all yours.
Shush. No talking. Concentrating. Damn it. I almost had it. The formula was in my mind, and I almost had it. I was so close to a breakthrough, I could practically taste it. You really did pick the worst time to manifest. Sky High, my magnum opus of psychostimulants. I feel like I've already explained this to the last hallucination. Oh, hang on. I see what's happening. You're real. Ergo, not a hallucination. This is interesting. I have several questions for you. Let's start with the obvious. Who are you, and how are you even alive? All sorts of things. Science, mainly. A little bit of research. If you're talking about all the dead bodies, that'd be the Pink Slip Protocol. Right, that answers that. Next question. Do you come bearing fresh pharmaceuticals?
This guy looks like he's had enough.
Look, we all know you're here to interrogate me. If I'm going to go through this ordeal, I'm not doing it sober. New friends mean new birthdays to keep track of, and I can't spare much room in my mind palace for frivolous trinkets of information. But in this case, I'll make an exception. You mean my inhaler? It's designed to deliver a highly concentrated dose of Sky High right through my respiratory system. The formula's still a work in progress. Clears my mind for a few precious moments. The rowdy tenants of my mind palace stop their chattering, and in that silence, I experience clarity. Inspiration through inhalation. That's Sky High, or it will be once I perfect my formula.
Doctor's orders.
Come on, boss. The guy's already hurting. Maybe we shouldn't be pushing him like this?
Who's he, what's he now? Take an inhale? Yes. An excellent suggestion. Much better. My mind is clear. So are my sinuses, in fact. Auntie Cleo instituted the Pink Slip Protocol. Fancy marketing term that translates to, we're not satisfied with the quality of your work, so we're revoking your lifetime contracts. Can you believe Auntie terminated my entire team? It's a terrible setback. For my team, I mean, not for me. Not this time. I'll continue the work on my own if need be. Ah, right. How do I put this? This is not the first time I've lost a research team to corporate mismanagement. It's the second. Auntie had been threatening to instigate Pink Slip Protocol for months, though I honestly didn't think they'd have the stones to do it. I was on the verge of giving Auntie the results she wanted. Well, almost on the verge. Approaching the verge. The point is, I didn't think this would happen. Bureaucratic procrastination and some incompetent saber-rattling. Before I was traded, I worked on Project Gorgon. I lost that team by attrition. Management turned the screw on my team. Forced me to fire 1 in 10 researchers. The few of us that remained were overworked and exhausted. We didn't have much of a security detail. I don't know how the primals got loose, but my team didn't stand a chance. We were designing a drug the likes of which Halcyon had never seen. A veritable panacea that cured lethargy and guaranteed a lifetime of productivity. I was overwhelmed, overworked, frustrated. Forced to submit unfinished samples, failing to meet impossible deadlines. I started self-medicating. To enable my genius to perform at a greater capacity. To forget. To endure. To feel nothing. Project Gorgon was in its final days when the primals attacked our lab. It wasn't long until Spacer's Choice authorized my transfer to this facility. Not at all. Such an event is incredibly rare. Few workers understand the truth of their value to society. Me? I'm worth 5 measly lab coats. Especially when I'm high. Auntie Cleo wants us to develop Anthracillin Plus, a new and improved version of the original Anthracillin formula. And what Auntie wants, Auntie gets. Eventually. I was making considerable progress. I can't possibly fathom why they prematurely terminated the project. I'm not lying. I'm carefully curating the truth for you. All right, listen. Auntie needs to be patient. I'll eventually get around to developing Anthracillin Plus. My priority right now is sky high. Once I perfect my formula, I'll be able to keep my mind functioning at peak performance without any pesky distractions. Like feelings. No, you don't. There's nothing interesting in the chem lab. There's nothing interesting in Gorgon at all. Gorgon is a featureless rock dragged along by the gravitational current of a barren asteroid belt. The chem lab is a graveyard. You won't find anything there but the dead. Dr. Olivia Ambrose was one of the finest scientists in the colony. If you're risking your life to retrieve her journal, there's likely a good reason. If you've set your heart on exploring my old labs, I won't try to dissuade you. Indulge me with a favor, and I'll give you the access you want. The electromechanical turbine is offline. Without any power, I can't possibly continue my work. Be a dear and reactivate it for me. That's all I ask. Not that it's any of your business, but I don't get to quit. My colleagues are dead, and yet I live. So I don't get to quit. Take the elevator to the storm platform at the top of this facility. Reactivate the turbine, and I'll give you the access you want. Of course you do. Well then, let's hear them. One thing at a time, my chatty accomplice. Turbine repairs first, interviews later. The facility's back on the grid, and my pipes again floweth with the sweet, sweet essence of my salvation. I suppose I have you to thank for realigning the machine. Of course, Jasper, you imbecile. Right, yes, of course. You'll need my voice to get into the chem lab. I'm obviously not coming with you, so I'm giving you a recording of my dulcet speech. This recording should get you into the chem lab. I hope whatever you're after is worth the trauma. I wouldn't go back there if I was higher than the mercury levels in a can of salt tuna. Wait, take my gun while you're at it. If you end up dying on Gorgon, there's a non-zero chance I'll feel partially responsible. Neither of us want that. Die, perhaps? Automechanical sentries are generally programmed to ignore corpses. I don't like the idea of going back to that place, to that life. Yes, I know it's not me risking my throat gallivanting around Gorgon. It's you, for whatever madcap reasons you've got. I've helped you once, and I don't feel great about it. I made a clean break from Gorgon, and now it feels like you're asking me to tether myself back to that place. I suppose you've got a point. Or something resembling a point. I'm emotionally addled right now, and I'm allowing my sentiments to get the better of me. Here, my personal security keycard. There's a hallway near the processing room. It leads to a security terminal. Use this keycard to unlock the hallway and disable security.
You find anything out there, you let me know. I'm ready to get off this rock. Looking for something out there. Been paying Sublight to help me, but they haven't made much progress. Well put. My husband and I worked on Gorgon during the good times. Jerome was on maintenance duty. I cleaned out test tubes till they sparkled. Getting the hell off Gorgon. In his final hours, Gorgon was a war zone. Violence broke out in the labs. The hills were full of marauders. You couldn't take a leisurely stroll without an armed escort. When the order came through to evacuate, non-essential personnel drew a lottery to see who would board the first wave of ships. Jerome won. I lost. Soon as I wasn't looking, Jerome switched our tickets and pushed me to the front of the line. I got to leave. Jerome stayed behind. I never saw him again. That Jerome always chose the right thing, even when it got him killed. This place is greedy. It took my Jerome, and it would have taken me too. I just want one thing back. His old hip flask. I gave it to him the day we signed our marriage contract, and he carried it wherever he went. I know it's still here. That's it, all right. Law. Still smells like his whiskey, his cigarettes, and that awful cologne he bathed in every morning. Here. I saved up for this just in case I needed to go out into the ruins myself. Truth be told, I'm glad I never had to use it. You didn't happen to find anything else out there, did you? You sound like Jerome. And if he was here, I'd tell him he sounds like a damn advertisement. But that's comforting in a way. Thank you for the flask. Jerome and I were supposed to live and die together, but sometimes fate has other plans. Time for me to get off this rock. Memories hang around here like a bad smell, and I could use some fresh air.
No point dwelling on the past. That's what I think anyway.
Those were some real nice words, boss. I just hope she'll be all right.
Look, I've seen some messy operating tables, but this is a first, and hopefully a last.
I don't know, boss. Way I see it, Halcyon didn't butcher these people. Other people did that. Other human beings.
What I'm stuck on is this. Spacer's Choice knew what Adrena Time would do, and they released it anyway. I didn't think Spacer's Choice was capable of causing this much harm. Competently, I mean. I just wonder if that heiress isn't gonna collapse on her fainting couch when she gets that journal, whatever it holds.
This facility is currently experiencing a heightened security event. Accessing this facility requires voice-modulated passphrase. Please speak the passphrase.
We attest to the zest with our hand on our chest. Be impressed as our guest by what we've finessed. You are blessed to ingest what we thoroughly test. You've tried the best, now try the rest. Spacer's Choice.
Passphrase accepted. Access granted. Welcome, Dr. Jasper Lowe.
Halcyon's got no shortage of creepy science labs, boss. But this place? There's something real twisted about this place.
I've seen some reckless operations, but here, it's like they were trying to get people killed. I'd say everything did. Still, Spacer's Choice spent a fortune on this place, filled it with the best and brightest lab coats they could find, and this is what they came up with?
Yeah, no kidding, boss. They should really change their slogan. We're not the best choice or the brightest choice. We're Spacer's Choice.
Knowing how Byzantines treat failure like it's catching, I can see why Minnie'd want to clear the family name.
Welcome to the Adrena Time Synthesis and Manufactory Center, brought to you by Spacer's Choice. This productivity automechanical unit is at your disposal. Its normal duties involve the management of legacy operations analytics. However, due to the promotion, demotion, death, or injury to other managers of this facility, this unit is now the acting manager of the following departments: reception, human resources, accounting, technical support, manufacturing, distribution, security. Please direct any questions about those departments to Pam. Answers not guaranteed. According to this facility's records, the Legacy Operations Analytics department is located on sublevel floor 1. Its functions include warm bodies and redacted. Access to that department is currently denied due to a lockdown in the sublevel stairwell. We value each and every member of the Spacer's Choice family, so be proud. On average, you contribute positively to a minimum of 1.44 important spreadsheets per quarter. That was one of Pam's patented pep talks designed to efficiently eliminate any negative feelings that are getting in the way of your work. After all, Pam's purpose is to answer one question: how can I increase your productivity today? Pam helps each and every member of the Spacer's Choice family be the best they can be. When you're managed by Pam, your workday gets unjammed. Don't think of Pam as your boss. I'm just your pal, here to make sure that every member of the Spacer's Choice family stays on task and on schedule. With Pam at the helm, you'll never be overwhelmed. Feeling down? Pam is loaded with over 1,000 encouraging messages, each designed to make you feel like an important member of the Spacer's Choice family. Schedule slipping? Not to worry. Pam tracks all of your deadlines and has the tools to whip your efficiency back into shape. You'll be a team player in no time, thanks to Pam. Uh-oh. Has dissident propaganda corrupted your workforce? Not a problem. Pam comes equipped with a military-grade N-ray cannon and a coat of our patented plasma proofing. With a 98.3% riot suppression rate, when Pam is here, your metrics have nothing to fear. How can I increase your productivity today? The Adrenatime Synthesis and Manufactory Center is where Spacer's Choice's newest product is being created. Get a leg up on the competition with Adrenatime. You are now in the lobby. The floors above you are the offices, the manufactory, and the Adrenatime synthesizer. The floors below you are the sublevels and the synthesizer reactor. How can I increase your productivity today? Spacer's Choice likes to maintain a positive work environment, so if you have to cry, please do so in the supply closet. Did you know that keeping your workers alive boosts productivity? That's why every PAM unit comes equipped with the latest Spacer's Choice weaponry. When PAM's emergency combat protocols are activated, your investments are sure to be protected. Warning: due to power consumption, combat protocols cannot be activated when PAM's power is below 73% without deactivating managerial processes. Spacer's Choice policy dictates that managerial processes take priority. This unit's power rating is 57%. PAM is fully customizable to fit your preferred management style. With the correct override codes, you can alter any of PAM's behaviors at will. Some limitations apply. Spacer's Choice does not accept legal responsibility for any injuries or traumas sustained after altering PAM's behaviors. See manual for details. Hate messing with tangled cables or confusing batteries? With PAM, you'll never have to. Just pop in a Firefly brand industrial strength battery, and PAM's ready to go. Out of batteries and need productivity now? No problem. Just hook Pam's power source up to another auto mechanical, and Pam will get your employees back in line in no time.
Hey, there you are. Been wondering how you were doing. Did you manage to find those recordings? Sure, I'm an open book. Nice enough guy. Fashioned himself one of those professional gumshoes, like in the serials. They usually work for the board, rooting out dissidents and the like. Lucky though, he was freelance. Worked for anyone who paid, no matter their allegiance. You ask me, I think the guy just likes snooping around in folks' terminal messages. No, but I'd wager Lex does a lot of weird shit she doesn't tell anyone about. That's the sublight way. Gotta say though, mailing a stranger some dead guy's arm probably tops the list. At least I'd hope so. Frenetic, chaotic, vicious, take your pick. I wasn't here at the start, but going off what folks told me about the early days, Gorgon started out with promise. The board's best and brightest were excited to work here, said it was a good posting. The project director had a vision and big, bold ideas. Nothing good lasts long in Halcyon. Thing is, the schedules coming out of the corporate office were unrealistic from the get-go, and they were trying to do the project on a shoestring budget. Couple that with the obvious personnel problems and toxic junk in the product, it was only a matter of time before it all went to hell. Could have been, yeah. Marauders didn't just fall out of the sky one day. They were made here on Gorgon. How, though? That's the question. Sprat Shack legend has it they crawled out of the mines one day. Heard one fella suggest they might even be aliens. I think the drug they were developing here turned people into marauders. Not on purpose, mind, but over time. Marauderhood's not the flu. It ain't contagious and they don't reproduce. So how else would they get all over the colony?
Developing a drug that accidentally turns people into raving, bloodthirsty lunatics? Sounds like Spacer's Choice to me.
I don't have proof, mind. It's just a hunch. Adrenatime, I'm sure you know it, was a drug, something to make folks work harder, work smarter. Had a lot of nasty side effects. Didn't seem so bad to me at the time, but then I hadn't met the test subjects yet. The whole thing was real hush-hush. A lot of worry about corporate spies, especially from Anti-Cleos. I probably shouldn't even be mentioning it to you, to be honest. Spacer's Choice, they're really not fond of spies. Not much, except that there was a whole gaggle of them, and so far as I could tell, they absolutely hated each other. Dr. Ambrose would hardly let me speak to any of them, but she complained about him all the time. Everything seemed like. Marion Blakesley, for example, lady who ran HIA, wouldn't return any of her messages. Not once, for years. Jasper Lowe, guy who headed up Chem, was high more than he was sober. He insisted on running special tests on primals, too. Law knows what for. Dr. Ambrose really had it out for this guy Lawrence Goodfellow. Ran OCI. Would lose his shit if he saw red on a schedule. By the end, I heard folks were turning in completely bunk progress reports just to keep him out of their hair. Had this little minion, too, an actuary named Clarence Mosley, obsessed with quantifying every detail of his sad little life. Mosley was the guy who got me mixed up in all this. Asshole. I hope a primal ate him. Oh yeah, it wasn't just that Dr. Ambrose hated them. They seemed to hate each other, too. OCI pushed a ludicrous schedule. Chem made a bad product, and HIA returned garbage results. A regular merry-go-round of shit flying in every direction. It's no surprise it all fell apart.
Shit, blood, trust us. They left a lot of messes behind.
We've been to the Gorgon facilities. What Spacer's Choice did here is so much worse than you can possibly imagine.
Huh. My editor said my prose was too purple, and here I could have gone vermilion. Shit, any number of things. Fire, primals, sabotage. It didn't happen all at once, but it happened fast enough folks couldn't respond in time. Now, if you're asking how it all kicked off, might have been spies that did it. Corporate espionage, you know, Anti-Cleos. I never did figure it out. Not about to try now. Not a problem. Anything else? Well, I'll be damned. Now I can finally get off this rock and go home. I know it's not much, but take the last of my bits. You've earned every single one, friend. My pockets? Oh, sure, here's a few more bits for your trouble. Call it hazard pay. You can't understand what you've done for me, friend. Thank you. Be careful out there. Gorgon doesn't take prisoners.
We are receiving an incoming signal, Captain.
Captain, I see you've made some headway on Gorgon. Mother's old work terminal just lit up with a bunch of new protocols. Very exciting. What about Mother's journal? Any progress there? Are you accusing me of deception? Captain, I would never. Can you hear me, Captain? I'm getting some interference on my end. Captain! Captain!
Hello again, little weasel. I must admit, you've surprised me. I threw nearly everything I had at you, and you overcame it all. Well spotted, Captain. We've both played our roles well, but it seems you've got the edge. I may have gravely underestimated you. You were smart to hire him, Wilhelmina. Well done.
Mother! You're alive! And still on Gorgon? I thought she was. Whoever thought a lone scientist could survive for 5 years on Gorgon? This is so you, Mother, inserting yourself where you aren't needed and at the worst possible time.
Am I disrupting your vanity project, you empty-headed little twit?
Olivia Ambrose doesn't do happy. Have you come back just to ruin everything again, Mother? At least this time I have the power to stop you.
Captain, this is a distraction. Let's set our differences aside and focus on what matters. Adrena time must never be revived.
I may not have told you all of the facts, but I'm going to lay out everything I know. You can decide for yourself what to do with it. By now, you realize that Project Gorgon was devoted to a single drug, Adrena time. A drug that hit the market in spite of calamitous side effects. Because they believed it could help Halcyon. I still believe it can. The project was a colossal failure, but you and I are going to revive it from the ashes. What you've seen is the result of Mother's leadership. I have no intention of repeating her mistakes. Mother's journal contains the activation codes for the Adrena time synthesizer, the key to a new Project Gorgon. We're going to start again, and this time with everything Project Gorgon didn't have. Better R&D, better scientists, clear goals, more funding, and a timeline that makes sense. Who else? Spacer's Choice. After I showed them the error of their ways, the corporation couldn't wait to restart the project. If I can improve the chemistry, I can fix Adrena time. We can put this colony back on track together.
Finally, a sensible question. I am the head of Project Gorgon, its grand mastermind. I created Adrena time because I believed, arrogantly, foolishly, that I could uplift the common man through chemistry. I failed. Now, my daughter wants to take up my mantle. Don't be absurd. Minnie is a bright enough girl, but she's weak, flighty. She'd abandon the project at the first minor setback. My work has already destroyed countless lives. We can't let her do so again out of pride and sentiment.
What about my life, Mother? The Ambrose name has no dignity anymore. I can't even show my face around Byzantium without being the gossip of the town. Of course! What do you think this is all about? Why do you think Spacer's Choice is willing to write me a blank check? Every day, workers slump over from exhaustion. The gears of industry swallow them whole, and no one is coming to help. Adrena time is the break we can't fit into the schedule. The office with a window we can't afford to build. It's the best this rotten colony can do for people. It's a bandage, not a cure. Halcyon is wounded, and I will do everything in my power to stop the bleeding.
Don't let those bloodless leeches at Spacer's Choice walk you down this perilous path, Wilhelmina. You haven't the fortitude to endure it.
As usual, Mother projects her failures onto me. If she had let me get involved from the start, we might have avoided this calamity altogether. Enlighten me. You've seen Gorgon up close, so tell me, what exactly is so insurmountable that we shouldn't even try?
This isn't penicillin, Minnie. The testing will be grueling, horrifying. What happens to your volunteers will haunt you for the rest of your life.
If anyone is going to be haunted by this choice, then let it be me. I can take the burden. I can do what she can't. If I can save the colony and redeem the Ambrose family name, I owe it to myself to try. Mother be damned. Social engineering takes generations, and we don't have the luxury of time. We need to mainline progress into Halcyon's bloodstream. You've seen more of this colony than the average grunt. You know as well as I do that this is a question of survival. With Adrenatime, we can increase worker productivity orders of magnitude above ordinary stims and risk none of the harmful side effects. Imagine if we flooded the market with drugs that actually helped people. We could influence the very business model of Spacer's Choice. We won't be exploiting workers any longer. We'll be celebrating them, giving them everything they need to succeed.
No, this is madness. The project, the complex, it has to be destroyed, razed to the ground. It's the only way.
That was Mother's doing. When the research didn't live up to her expectations, she shut it down. Does that sound familiar to you? Because it does to me. I need that facility online, but I can't do it while Mother's still a problem. By now, she'll have shut down the Gorgon reactor. Deal with her however it suits you, and get that facility back up and running.
Don't do this, Wilhelmina. Minnie, don't make this choice.
Adrenatime is our future. It's bigger than money, bigger than family. It's the colony's best hope.
Return to my family's manor, Captain. Use the executive override code in my journal to activate the NDA protocol for my terminal. It will destroy the Gorgon drug synthesizer and put an end to Adrenatime for good. My daughter's gotten her hooks into you. I understand. She's always had a knack for manipulating people. But I know you're more than her foolish little puppet. You've survived this long. You have to be more. She will try to force you to fight her. You don't have to. In fact, I would ask you not to. Whatever mistakes she might make, she is still my daughter.
Captain, in light of recent events, I'm putting the manor under lockdown. Until Mother is dealt with, anyone who lands here is presumed hostile. Finish the job. I know you won't disappoint me. Didn't I warn you not to set foot in here until the job was done? You should have listened to my advice. There's nothing to discuss. I can fix Adrenatime without you, and certainly without Mother. You wasted your time coming here, and worse, you wasted mine. But I won't let anything stand in the way of progress. You'll surprise me, Captain. Once we fix the chemistry of Adrenatime, the Marauder problem will simply take care of itself. The days of the old Adrenatime are numbered, and Marauders are bound for extinction. Insane people addicted to drugs are Mother's problem. Am I to be held accountable for her mess? Besides, Mother is determined to ruin everything she touches. First Adrenatime, then our family, and now my ambition. She never gave me a chance, forbade it. I see no reason why she deserves a second one. Mother never let me anywhere near R&D. I was always her incompetent little brat. Stand down? I think not, Captain. People want to buy clean drugs, and I want to sell them. Under my leadership, Adrenatime will live up to its promise, unlike certain mothers. Adrenatime has already claimed thousands of lives, but I intend to succeed where Mother failed. My drug will be the pride and joy of the Ambrose family. And if we pick up where Gorgon left off, then the human testing phase is well ahead of schedule. Farewell, Captain. If it wasn't already obvious, you're fired.
You've finished it, Captain. You've put Gorgon down once and for all. I only wish that Minnie had seen reason. The good we could have done together. Join me for a toast in the drawing room. I do believe you're due a reward.
Stay armed and ready, Captain. I still don't trust her.
Hand to law, Captain. I mean you no harm. I'll have a drink waiting. Captain, I believe a celebration is in order. The Gorgon project is dead, and we are not.
Hey, if you don't want it, I'll drink it.
Speak up, Captain. I can't hear a thing when you mumble like that. Aren't you a funny one? Shall we toast? May they meet the justice of the blade, bullet, or pen, whichever is most expedient. It's funny. When Spacer's Choice released Adrenatime to the public and began the Marauder crisis, and I sabotaged all the Gorgon facilities, I thought that was the end for me. Then you came along and changed everything. I find myself at loose ends now, Captain. What happens next? I'll gladly humor one or two for the executioner of Gorgon. I certainly did. Spacer's Choice's negligence sent Halcyon into a tailspin, and they refused to pull Adrenatime from the market to stop it. They forced my hand. I ended the project the only way I could, by destroying everything. I had faith a strapping hero would come along someday and do it for me. I'm joking, obviously. You were a bolt from the blue. Or the black, as it were. 2 reasons, actually. I couldn't bear to kill so many of my staff, even though our work killed exponentially more colonists. I didn't want to give up on my research, even after all it had cost us. In those early days of the Marauder epidemic, I still believed I could fix Adrenatime. As time went on, I became convinced I could cure the Marauders. But once again, Spacer's Choice has forced my hand. This time through my daughter. And I have to let that dream die too. Before I explain, there's a critical detail you must understand. Halcyon is in the midst of a slow-moving crisis, one that will not improve on its own. The board knows this, but they're not lifting a finger to address it. In the absence of their leadership, I thought I could bridge the gap. So I tried to create a drug to expand our workers' minds and improve their bodies, help them work harder, longer, and smarter. With everyone at their best, I thought the colony might be able to innovate itself out of this hole. Don't be preposterous. Eugenics is bunk science, a charlatan's game. Snake oil for a pathetic elite who want to believe that they've earned their privileges and that the poor have earned their suffering. My work is nothing like theirs. Don't tar it with their brush. If Spacer's Choice had given me time to perfect Adrenatime, I know I could have done it. My drug could have saved Halcyon. Don't presume to know what I have and have not tried to do to help Halcyon, Captain. Though that isn't to say I couldn't have tried harder or enlisted my peers' help. You're right about that. Was there anything else you wanted to discuss before I bid you farewell? Children do not remain so forever. She grew up, and we grew apart. I could have tried harder to reach her, to support her. I know. But I confess, I always found my work more engaging than child-rearing. And Minnie and I had so little in common. In the end, my distance seemed a blessing. I don't deny that. But I do regret it. She might still be alive if she hadn't inherited her worst traits from me. What else might I answer for you before you go, Captain? Down there, on Gorgon. It was, but I had my work to keep me company. Work, and a great many number of ghosts. I was obsessed with the notion that I might find a cure for the Marauders, that I could right the tremendous wrong we'd done to them. I think I was a little mad. Perhaps I still am. I wanted to do it all on my own, to fix everything myself. But the problem of the Marauders was too complex for me to solve. And with Gorgon gone, it will remain that way. Not for lack of trying. I had some close calls in the early years. But Marauders aren't especially observant. Easy enough to tiptoe past with practice. Of course. Anything else? Or shall I let you see yourself out? Maybe I'll find a handsome little bolt hole out there in the aether, and endeavor to keep a low profile, as they say. Maybe I'll pick up a soothing, useless hobby, like watercolor painting. Spacer's Choice will want to take their turn at revenge, and I'd rather not be within reach when they do. This colony has enough mad scientists running rampant, I think. I've had my fill of all that for this lifetime. Well, it's time we stop looking back and turn our eyes to the stars. Where will the future lead you, Captain? Be careful the board doesn't catch you enjoying yourself on their watch. In any case, I do believe this is the end. Law willing, Adrenatime is dead for good, and the Marauders will die out with it. Goodbye, Captain, and thank you again. May the stellar wind be ever at your back.
Even the Gorgon asteroid, though a distant enigma to most of Halcyon, felt the aftershocks of your actions. The destroyed Adrenatime synthesizer became a symbol of the board's cruelty, and a rallying point for Wells and his scientists as they sought to build a more humane, ethical Halcyon. They cleared the dead from Gorgon's laboratories and repurposed them to aid in the crucial work of solving the colony's nutrition crisis. Gorgon, which had once sown death and destruction across Halcyon, became a source of hope and renewal. The Gorgon Project's final explosive end was bittersweet for Olivia Ambrose. She wandered the colony's fringes alone, searching for others like her who despised the board and meant to destroy them. In time, she found Phineas Wells and his cadre of scientists, and she joined them in their efforts to save Halcyon. For a while, she even knew an uneasy peace. But for all that, Olivia found purpose in Wells' project. She was always haunted by the memory of her daughter, Minnie, who hadn't lived to see the better world they were building. She never did forgive herself for the horror her work had wrought on Halcyon. But she remembered fondly the daring captain who'd put an end to it at last. In spite of everything, the Gorgon asteroid remained a sobering reminder of the potential for progress and disaster in humanity's most ambitious efforts.